Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on something that happens millions of times a second all over the world, the SQL query. We're going to follow just one line of code on its incredible, high-speed journey right through the heart of a database.
You know the feeling, right? You type out a query, you hit run, and almost instantly, you get an answer. But what's happening in those few milliseconds is honestly one of the most sophisticated processes in all of modern software. It's a high-stakes ballet of logic and data.
So let's dive into that transformation. We're going to follow that query from the moment it leaves your keyboard as just a simple string of text, all the way through to the moment it comes back as perfectly organized data, after being translated, optimized, and executed according to a master plan.
Okay, so first things first. Before a database can even think about running your query, it has to figure out what on earth you're actually asking for. And that all happens in this critical translation phase that turns your request into something a machine can actually execute.
It all happens in a pipeline. So first up, your raw SQL string gets broken down into its basic parts. That's tokenization. Think of it like separating a sentence into nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Then, the parser takes those pieces and builds them into a logical tree. And finally, the binder comes in and plays fact checker. It looks at that tree and asks, do these tables and columns you're asking for even exist? And do you have permission to see them?
And right here, this is the first major transformation. Your query isn't just a flat string of text anymore. Nope, it's become an abstract syntax tree, or AST. It's a structured blueprint that the database can finally understand. This is the query's first real step into the world of the machine.
All right, with that blueprint in hand, we now arrive at what is, without a doubt, the most critical part of any modern database, the query optimizer. This thing is the strategic brain of the entire operation.
And this is really the whole point of SQL, isn't it? You don't tell the database how to get the data. You don't say, use this index, then join to that table. You just declare what you want. And it's the optimizer's job to figure out the fastest, cheapest, most efficient way to make that happen.
And this is where the scale of the problem just gets mind-boggling. Let's say your query joins just 10 tables. Well, there are over 3.6 million possible ways the database could execute that join. The optimizer has to find the one best path in that massive sea of options. And the difference between the best plan and the worst? It's not just a few seconds. It can be the difference between a query running in milliseconds and one that runs for days. No exaggeration.
So how does it possibly choose the right path? Well, it uses statistics. The database is always gathering info about your data. How many rows are in a table, how many unique values are in a column. It uses those stats to estimate a cost for thousands of potential execution plans, weighing all the CPU, memory, and disk access required. Its one and only goal is to find the plan with the absolute lowest cost score.
Once that master plan is chosen, it's not a theoretical document anymore. It gets handed off to the execution engine. You can think of this as the factory floor of the database, the place that's responsible for turning that blueprint into your actual results. And this table is a perfect example of the optimizer's impact. The way it decides to join your tables is one of the biggest factors in your query's speed. Is it a quick lookup on an index? It'll probably choose a nested loop. Are we joining two massive, unsorted tables? A hash join is the workhorse for that job. Oh, and is the data already sorted? Perfect. A merge join will be incredibly efficient.
It's not just what the engine does, but how it does it. The traditional model, sometimes called the volcano model, processes data one single row at a time. But modern analytical databases use a vectorized model, processing data in big, efficient batches of hundreds or thousands of rows. This simple change dramatically cuts down on CPU overhead, and it's just a much better fit for how modern computer hardware works.
All right, so all this speed is amazing. But it would be completely useless if the data wasn't safe, right? So let's look at the foundational systems that give us those guarantees of consistency and durability that we all just take for granted.
This right here, this is the database's ultimate insurance policy. It's a simple, powerful rule. Before you actually change any data on disk, you must first write down what you're about to do in a special log file. That way, if the server crashes mid-operation, it doesn't matter. It can just replay the log and restore the database to a perfect, consistent state.
Now, this simple-sounding process is actually a massive performance hack. To commit a transaction, the database just has to make one fast sequential write to this log file, which is super quick.
The much slower, random writes to the actual data files, they can happen in the background whenever the system has a free moment. It's a clever trick that lets the database confirm your change almost instantly.
Have you ever wondered why you can run a big report on a table at the exact same time your colleague is updating rows in it, and neither of you gets blocked or sees weird corrupted data? Well, this is why. It's called MVCC, and it basically means readers don't block writers and writers don't block readers. Everyone just gets to see a consistent snapshot of the database from the moment their query began. It's kind of magical.
This slide really gets to a core truth about how databases are designed. There's often no single right answer. Just take memory management. Postgres tends to collaborate with the operating system, trusting its cache to do a good job. Meanwhile, MySQL's InnoDB engine prefers to take direct control, managing most of the memory itself. Both are totally valid, high-performance strategies, just with different trade-offs.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, that single line of SQL you write isn't some magic spell. It's the starting pistol for a sophisticated multi-stage pipeline. And knowing what's happening behind the scenes, from the parsing to the optimization to the execution, that is a developer's superpower. It helps you write queries that work with the database's strengths, not against them.
And of course, this journey is constantly evolving. Modern databases are already using things like just-in-time compilation to turn queries directly into machine code. Distributed systems are breaking plans apart to run across huge clusters. It all just leaves us wondering, what incredible new optimizations are waiting just around the corner?